I'm Ward Anders with VBN Sports, joined by Chase Claypool of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thanks for doing this, Chase, as I know you've been inundated with so many media requests on both sides of the border. In fact, take us through the past month and the demands on your time. How crazy has it been?
Yeah, it's definitely been crazy up until this point, but nothing too out of the ordinary. I kind of expected this to happen, so it's not like it came out of left field. But it's been nice. It's been a pretty cool experience.
I'd imagine everyone from like Bleacher Report to guys you played community ball with back at the age of 12 were reaching out. Do you have people like your family or agents that are kind of sifting through things for you so you're not so inundated by it?
No, that's what I got to figure out. I still have to go through my messages from draft weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done in the next couple days.
Oh man, so a lot of reading. Now, it's one thing to have a fan base as passionate as Steeler Nation embracing you as their first pick in the second round there. What did it mean though to have future teammates reaching out, saying how happy they were? And I'm thinking especially about two-time Super Bowl champ Ben Roethlisberger, a guy that's going to make a big impact on your career early on. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, it was super cool to see those guys reach out and show their support. Makes you feel welcome to any team. So I'm even more excited to go down there and get to work. Obviously, being led by a veteran quarterback is a nice situation to be put in. So I'm kind of obviously pretty happy about the situation that I'm in right now.
How early do you have to start looking at apartments or places to stay at and all the little things outside of playing football that you'll have to do when you're moving not just to a new city but to a new country?
Yeah. So I've already been looking at some places. Uh, they have some resources out there that can help you get set up, help rookies get set up. But I've just been
Nice.
looking around. It all depends really on when the facility's open, but
Yeah.
just trying to get my feet wet, see what the city's like for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to be paying the rent if the checks aren't coming in, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's
Now,
right.
you're the first rookie to select your number from this year's class. Was number 11 just because you took the 83 from Notre Dame and put them together, or is there more of a thought process that went into it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of connections that I had through my family with 11. It was my cousin's favorite number. It was my uncle's favorite number. It was 8 plus 3. It was my head coach's, his sons and his son and daughter wore that number. My
Hmm.
offensive coordinator wore that number. So um, there's a lot of connections to it. So it just seemed like a pretty good, easy choice, and all the Pittsburgh receivers right now are in the teens as well, so didn't want to stick
Nice.
out like a sore thumb or anything.
Number 90 all by yourself. It's
Yeah.
exciting for you when an NCAA program brings someone from way up in Abbotsford to come and play ball. But when you're looking at one of the programs in college football in Notre Dame, they make movies about that college program. Was there a combination of excitement and nerves when you first landed in South Bend?
I think more just excitement. I wasn't too nervous going into campus because we came in the summer and there was a long kind of integration period. So it wasn't too bad. I was trying to just enjoy the moment. Definitely some nerves in your first couple practices, for sure. But the more you play, the more you get comfortable being in that situation.
I mean, when you got there too, they had a pretty established group of receivers. Were you surprised that you were able to keep moving your way up and establish yourself in that offense the way that you did?
Maybe surprising to the younger self, but as I was kind of in that situation, the more I played with those guys and against some guys, the more I felt that I belonged. So, during
Nice.
the moment, I wasn't surprised, but I never expected it to happen the way it did.
You look at the last 3 years you were at Notre Dame, Chase. You guys went 33-6 as a team. You had those two bowl victories. You finish off your Notre Dame career as the MVP of the Camping World Bowl, the win over Iowa State. And let me pump your tires here so you don't have to. 7 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown. You seem like a pretty motivated guy, but was there a little extra motivation going into that game because you knew that was kind of your legacy game? That was the last game you'd wear Irish colors.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of want to obviously go out with your best game, uh, and luckily I was able to do it. It was one of my best games, and I had a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, most importantly, what I just said, it was about having fun that last game. That's kind of what our whole team was about for the second half of the season, just having fun. So I think that was the most important thing.
Another place you seem to have had a lot of fun playing was high school ball in Abbotsford for the Panthers. And look at the last decade for high school football in Abbotsford. You got guys like Bo Lacombo, who plays for the Argos. His brother Nelson is a star with the University of Saskatchewan. Malik Irons plays for the Ticats now. Did you follow what any of those guys were doing? Kind of keep an eye on them, or were you friends with them at all?
Yeah, I definitely grew up watching Basico Combo play. Um, I watched him when he was in high school for Moet, and then I watched him play for the Ducks, and then the Ducks became my favorite team, and that's kind
Oh,
of where I wanted to go for a little bit. So I definitely like to obviously keep an eye on people who are doing pretty big things in the football world, and just try to follow their path.
we just actually interviewed Bo before we interviewed you, and he wanted us to give you a fun, hard time and just make sure that he was the guy that you were watching when you were growing up. So we said we do that
Yeah,
for
that's
him.
right. Yeah.
You're a guy that's proud to be an Abbey Panther. I don't want to really talk about this too much. When that tragedy struck, you were on social media, you were showing your support, you were playing games for that community, and then when the team reached, I think, the 2017 provincials, I heard you actually flew back from South Bend just to be there for the boys. Is that
Mhm.
something you see yourself staying plugged into and connected with that program? Proud to be an alumni?
Yeah, most definitely. That program did a lot for me. So I think it's only fitting that I do a lot for the program in return, especially, the coaches surrounding that and kind of the support staff. I think, they're all great people who deserve a lot. So it's definitely something I'm going to be doing for the next few years here.
Now, I'm not going to put any pressure on you because enough other people have put enough pressure on you, but you look at some British Columbia athletes that have gone on to do some really big things in their sport where there wasn't a lot of guys playing that sport from there. You look at Steve Nash, with basketball, Larry Walker with baseball. Do you think somewhere in the back of your mind that if you work as hard as you can and you use the God given talents that you have, that maybe you can draw more kids to playing football from BC?
100%. I think, it shows that um, not only is it obviously possible to do, but it's very realistic to think that every kid has a chance. Some different than others, but I'm a true believer in obviously you have to be lucky and you have to be put in the right position. But if you work hard and you kind of fit in that position, that lucky position, you can definitely capitalize. And I think that there's a lot of players that didn't make it because they think they couldn't make it. So I just want, I guess, kids in BC to believe just a little more.
Nice. What you do on the field, I think Mike Tomlin and the offensive coaching staff are pretty excited about having you because you've got a really well-rounded game. You're not just a guy that can go out there and do the one-handed highlight reel snags. You're a guy that's taken a lot of pride in being a great blocking receiver. You actually enjoy playing on special teams. You're not just doing it so you can move up and play regularly in offense. What is it about football that makes you thrive and love this game even when the rock isn't in your hands?
Yeah, I think growing up, being a defensive player as well as an offensive player, but I always played defense my whole life. So special teams, is an opportunity for me to play just a little bit of defense each game and go make some tackles. And it's something that got me on the field my freshman year, and it's going to be something that gets me on the field for my rookie season. So, uh, with that being said, it just leads to a lot of opportunity, and you can't really pass that up, especially if you're trying to make it big.
Now the schedule's out, and a lot of fans from here, I'm sure, kind of sad that Seattle isn't hosting Pittsburgh this year. Have you thought about, though, in a year or 2 or 3 years from now, if the Steelers come and play that 12th man, and you're going to have all your family and friends clamoring for tickets? What is that going to mean to you when you step on the field and there's some friendly faces amongst that mob watching you live out your dream?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be super cool. My family has showed really good support for the last few years. Well, my whole life, but in terms of traveling all the way to the East Coast to go to Notre Dame games, they've been awesome with that. And yeah, I don't expect anything to change in the NFL, so I'm expecting to see at least a few family members at every game. But it's gonna be cool to see a lot more in Seattle.
Now, one thing I did notice on the schedule, the big preseason game is that Hall of Fame game against the Dallas Cowboys. Have you kind of closed your eyes and thought for a moment that that's a chance to really make your mark on this team if you guys get a chance to play it? And maybe about when you catch that first pass, or even more so, maybe when you get that first touchdown, have you kind of run those scenarios through your mind?
Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of have to envision doing things if you want to, actually do them. But you kind of have to take it day by day at a time. You don't want to look too far in the future, especially with the uncertainty that kind of exists in the world right now. But just kind of preparing to make those potential plays day by day.
I got to ask you because I mean you were one heck of a baller, and I've talked to a lot of guys that are basketball coaches here in Abbotsford. Was basketball something that you thought about maybe that would be in your future instead of football?
Definitely. I just thought, I was improving at a pretty fast rate in basketball. Um, and I thought, I'd have more opportunities in basketball than I would in football. So I was kind of exploring that route, but um, while still playing football, obviously. So I was just kind of trying to see which sport would take me further. Because at the time, I really enjoyed playing both. So there was a time where I thought basketball was going to be a sport for me.
You can dunk too, I heard too.
Yeah, yeah, I can dunk.
You got a few other moves up your sleeve too you can do?
Yeah, yeah, I can. There's a couple things I can do on the court, but definitely my jumpers. That's gone forever. That's not coming back.
Now, are you going to do the thing if you score a touchdown in the future where you can kind of dunk the ball over the goalpost, or has that been done by too many other people and that's not something you're interested in?
I might do something similar to that. Just worried about getting rim stuffed in front of national television. So we'll see.
Rudy Gobert in the post, just shaking his finger at you. Get that out of
Yeah,
here.
that'd be bad.
Chase, you know what? Thanks so much for doing this because I know you've been so busy and we really appreciate it. And you got a lot of people here rooting for you and living vicariously through you. So be safe, my friend.
I appreciate that a lot. Thanks for having me on the show.
That's Chase Claypool of the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 11. I'm Warren Andrews with VBN Sports. Thanks so much for joining us.